I guess in this video I'm just going to go over my Earthshatter guy, level 100 character. I league started, so he's still alive, he's doing it hardcore, whatever. We do all the content in the game, so just kind of go over everything and kind of the progression of this character and where it's still going. Alright, so Big Axe, we don't really care too much about progressing this. It's big, so it's like 1200 plus DPS or something. It could be a little bit better, but I mean, it's like almost about as good as it gets. Trying to lock it, corrupt it, get an extra 7th link on it. Life tap or momentum or whatever. I don't even know what else you can get, but you know, make it better with the corruption eventually. So this is good. We're happy with that. We got our echoes, double corrupting these. They're very expensive on hardcore. So like versus softcore, it's I think we've seen like 10 echoes in all of hardcore for like comparison. If you look at trade, there's probably like that, like 1,000 plus of these. You know what I mean? So these are pretty hard to get in hardcore. Self-damage is fine on Jug. Usually when we enter a map, we attack once, which activates our unflinching, so we start getting endurance charges immediately. And this gives us our pretty much our borderline guaranteed endurance charge sustain. You know, bosses and stuff, sometimes you don't get hit for 15 seconds straight because you try to dodge attacks. So we can self-proc our endurance charge generation. Very good helm. It's huge damage. It solves all the Jug damage problems. We're like 20 million DPS on this character right now, but at the same time being absurdly tanky. So Echo is very good. Anything else on this? I think that's pretty much it. Another good build would be to become a master of back-end web development with boot.dev. Learn back-end web development from start to finish in the Python and Go programming languages. The smartest way to learn code is to make sure you're never bored. Boot.dev is online, self-paced, and feels like a captivating RPG game. The platform is designed to get you writing a ton of code because getting your hands on the keyboard and shipping projects is the only way to really learn. The creators never want a student feeling like they spent money on something that isn't helping them, so they offer a 30-day no questions asked refund policy, a free demo of every course and its interactive features. Click the link in the description box and use my code ALKaiser to get 25% off your first month or even your first entire year if you choose the annual plan. Now everyone can afford a membership, so all boot.dev content is free to read and watch in guest mode. A paid membership unlocks hands-on coding, AI assistance, progress tracking, and gamification that makes the content immersive. Thanks boot.dev for sponsoring this video. We went Strangle Gasp on the Amulet slot to just fill in a bunch of things. Admonisher is really good. Fill in a little bit of Charisma so we can auto-exert more War Cries. We only manually cast one right now, Rallying Cry. You can see all my things are like on auto-exert. And then we got Inveterate because we want Suppression Cap, so we get Suppression Cap, which we are, I think we're like 102. We might be exactly 100 right now, somewhere around there, but you know. Suppression Cap, then a little bit of all res, whatever. There's some other annoyance you could do, like maybe you different pathing on the tree, get endurance charge, whatever, and then we corrupt our Strangle Gasp into a rare amulet, and then we kind of like play with Tainted Exalted Orbs, and we hit T2 life eventually, and we still got an armor roll there, so we're not touching this anymore, because Tainted Exalt can risk bricking a mod. Basically it just randomly adds or removes a mod. No control over that. So we're happy with this, very good. Definitely a nice one. And then we got the Endurance Charge Ring. We're Kalandra touching it, so it's mirrored, so we basically effectively have 2 of these. With that Mana Regen roll, which comes from the Veiled mod, I think I'd prefer the reduced mana cost one, but this is really good too, because it basically, we don't attack that fast. Like, I could just hold right click even without Mana Leech, right? And I'm not gonna because we're kind of slow on attacking, but we do have Mana Leech on our character still, but the Mana Regen is quite useful still. The only thing that kind of affects it is yeah, that Mana Siphoner stuff, but we can't really basically, so that's good. Body armor, really polite thing. I might do a better one than this later, but you know, these implicits are pretty close to ideal. You know, we can get a +3 max res or absolute +2. I think I'd prefer non-conditional +2 eventually, because some bosses and then mapping and stuff, T17 stuff, there's not going to be a unique mob nearby. You know, like when Awakener meteors you, this doesn't actually activate +2 max res until, you know, after the meteor is done damage to you. It's kind of silly. There's a couple instances where this kind of situation happens. I want the Horror Essence of Horror mod, so if I want to big juice it, it's like 90% PDR, or not PDR, but 90% reduced crit damage, I believe. So basically hard counters crit, It's a suffix mod, I believe. On Essence of Horror, they changed it. I have to double check it, but I would probably fracture it and then craft that way. But this is pretty good. This is about as good as it gets. It's like basically, you know, no wasted mods. It's all T1 with the Veiled mod. So this is pretty much ideal. And then, what is this? Suppression gloves with life. The life roll isn't like super high, and then it's missing a Veiled prefix, but I mean, you know, eventually if I want to min-max it, we'll go for that. The Exarch and Eater mods are fine. If you have more spell suppression cap, you can use like the Exarch or the Impel mod. Impel mod is pretty sure like way more DPS. We might go that route at some point. Get more Impel. Big damage. This needs Divined, but it's fine. It's just a Stygian belt with, preferably we would have armor instead of the mana roll there, but it's we're probably going Mage Blood eventually. So Mage Blood plus Relicash combo when the time comes, when I get the currency, and you know, there's like no Mage Bloods even up for sale on hardcore, so you know that comparison again versus softcore, just things aren't really that available, and they're also extremely expensive when they do pop up. So this belt is pretty much ideal pre-Mage Blood, I would say. And then I'm getting like my bit of shock avoidance from the searching eye jewel here, just any abyss jewel. And then we get a little bit of element avoidance from the implicit here, which all this stuff gets solved with Mage Bloods and Flasks and all that stuff. We don't have to really do that much to fix all this if we want to. But these boots are kind of like whatever, they're just filler. These two slots I don't care about touching really until Mage Blood and Relicash makes my Frenzy Charge. And Endurance Charge, absolute, they cannot be stolen, all that kind of stuff, because that mod is annoying. But this character kind of, he ends up solving a lot of T17 mods just by his then, you know, innate being a Juggernaut and how the build kind of functions. So a little bit of more you know, Mage Blood and all that, Relicash, and a little bit of, you know, the Essence of Horror mod on this chest eventually, whatever. We counter almost all the T17 mods. Will be quite good for that if we want to just like giga pump them up. But you know, we're farming them already right now, just killing the bosses and stuff and the Ubers, farming it up. Flask stuff, whatever. I don't even know what's on my flask on this, honestly. Like, just like I don't need this reduced shock effect. It literally does nothing. Just cords for like, you know, pathing, and then some armor, flask, curse stuff, like whatever. Solaris and that's bossing. Typically we run around with Relicash, but we have so many endurance charges. We're playing with 9 right now with Juggernaut Ascendancy that the bleeds don't even do too much, but Relicash in general is always good to have. Tree wise, we ended up solving our suppression with cluster jewels. These give 20, and they also give the element avoidance with elegant form. These got Omega Giga buff this league. They used to be 2 suppression. They more than 100% buff them, because now not only are they 4 suppression per small, they also get the 25 and 35 effect, bump them up to 5. So before this league, they would only cap at 2, no matter what you did. Now they go up to 5 on a well-rolled one, so it's a huge buff for left side, bottom side tree builds that need suppression. This is how you solve your suppression if you want to go that route. There are other ways, you know, just get like lot on gear and all that kind of stuff, but that's basically what I ended up doing. These max res jewels are pretty OP. I actually don't have my tree's kind of tight, but you know, it's like a mana leech. But these +2 max res jewels, and then like, you know, as my gear gets better, we got another one somewhere. With this thing, you can get double max res +2/+2, and still get life rolls and stuff. They can roll pretty insane. So I think we have +2 max res in combat against bosses, so we're getting close to cap all res with like a Mage Blood and a little bit better gear. We can actually be up 90 all res, which is kind of silly. So we're like 9 endurance charges, cap suppression, and then we're gonna cap res, or very close to cap res. 90 all will be big. We already do pretty good damage, and our damage will go up a bit more for sure. So that's kind of the, you know, progression of this character. Possibly go untiring. We can always take out Unstoppable when we get a Mage Blood, go untiring, and that self-reflected damage from the echoes will convert into regen, because our sustain is kind of bad, but we just don't take much damage from anything, unless it's just like some, you know, absurd like Detonate Dead or something cooked. But sustain is kind of the only slight issue on this character, but we have Flask, and we have Life Leech, and we have some regen. But in general, we just don't take very much damage. We don't press that many buttons on this build anymore because we're auto-exerting almost everything. You know. that is kind of what the character looks like, and like I said, well, Mage Blood, Relic Cache, a little bit of upgrading gear, maybe corrupt the axe, maybe redo the chest, get a new chest and do the Essence 4 Fracture on the Suffix. That'll be big on this build. Maybe do some corruption on Echoes. I think I'm done with the Amulet. Yeah, it looks good. In retrospect, I don't think I would have. I've seen what some other people are playing, and I have no second thoughts or regrets about what I chose to play. I think this is exactly. I got exactly what I wanted out of this character. I'm happy with it, and we're probably playing it for another week or two as I kind of pump it up more until I decide to play something else. Probably Molten Strike or something like that. Molten Strike Zenith. Some kind of like Alberons or Original Sin setup, something like that. So, yeah, just that is the current character. GG.